welcome to our next episode of Heartwired. I'm Corey Hill. Today, we're going to be talking about two elements from our handout series regarding supporting social emotional development, what all early interventionists can do. Early interventionists play a critical role in empowerment and education for families. In order to do this, they also need to have a significant understanding of child development. Our first strategy is to routinely screen. When early interventionists do routinely screen, it really supports efficient identification, which can help us to determine potential delays and then plan for supports and effective implementation for our EI strategies. The second strategy is to discuss developmental milestones with families. When we discuss developmental milestones with families by using a screening tool, they really go hand in hand. What can be identified is what's typical, what's atypical, what's coming next, and really helping families determine if there's something that may be a cause for concern. Early interventionists can use a variety of screening tools. Examples include the infant toddler temperament tool, the MChat, the SEAM, etc. In this video, Brandy is going to talk about two screening tools. The first one is the Ages and Stages Questionnaire 3, also called ASQ3. She's also going to talk about the Ages and Stages Questionnaire Social Emotional, also called ASQ-SE.
Hello, my name is Brandy, and I'm the local system manager of the Infant and Toddler Connection of Danville, Pennsylvania. This past summer, I had the privilege of attending the Brooks Publishing ASQ3 and ASQ-SE Train the Trainer Institute. While I've been using the ASQ screening tools for many, many years in my career, it was this past summer that I was able to really learn a lot about the tools, the screening tools, along with the research and data to support the use of them. I have two key takeaways that I received from the training. The first is the importance of using both screening tools. So, in our early identification and linkage to supports for families, we often use the ASQ3 to identify delays in areas like communication or fine motor. But the training this past summer really solidified the use of the ASQ3 and the ASQ-SE with one another. The use of both screening tools with one another really helps us develop a holistic picture of the child's development. These tools are parent questionnaires as well. And so from the very beginning, by using both of these tools, we familiarize families with the language surrounding social emotional development and the language surrounding overall development. And so by using these questionnaires in conjunction with one another and with parent input, it really helps begin the empowerment process with families. So that was one of the big takeaways for me, was using both screening tools. Another thing that really stood out to me in the training is the importance of using these screenings routinely. So not just in entry into services, but all throughout their time in our program, the importance of using both the ASQ3 and the ASQ-SE routinely. So every 6 months or every 3 months, whatever it feels appropriate for your program, but the importance of doing it often and consistently so that we can get a real good baseline of the child's development. So those two takeaways were really big for me, because we know that social emotional development lays the foundation for everything that a child learns: how they communicate, how they build relationships, how they interact with their environment. When we routinely screen for social emotional development, a lot of times we can identify things before they become concerns or before they become behavioral issues. And we can integrate strategies from the family perspective and a professional perspective, integrate strategies and give families tools that they need to integrate into their daily routines. So we're building in strategies to build resiliency, building in strategies to help with self-regulation from the very beginning, right? If we're doing them together and routinely. I believe that early identification allows for us to help families and professionals go ahead and integrate these practices and these supports into services that are already in existence or into goals within our service plans. It's really easy to integrate these practices when we are doing these screenings routinely. I believe that making social emotional screenings a routine part of our early intervention practices, we are supporting the whole child. And I believe it helps us empower families by giving them the tools and the confidence they need from the very beginning. And so, doing the screening tools together in conjunction with one another and doing them routinely is really important for child development and how we provide supports to the families in our community. It has certainly changed the way I view screenings, and it has certainly helped shape the way I want to support families, the way I want to support infants and toddlers in my community. And so I wanted to share that information with you guys. I hope it's helpful. I appreciate all that you guys do. Keep up the good work.
Did you catch Brandy's two key takeaways? She notes the effectiveness of getting a solid picture of the child's overall development and specifically social emotional development when you use the ASQ3 and the ASQSE together. Brandy also talks about how when you screen routinely, you have that opportunity that we've talked about to discuss developmental milestones and how the child is doing. How about that? Just what we highlighted as today's strategies. Do you need some help in explaining to families how and why we screen? Take a listen to these two short video clips to see how Brandy does just that.
Doing an developmental screener called the Ages and Stages. Or maybe doing one just to check like developmental milestones, see he's on track for everything. Are you on track for everything? And then I'm also going to be doing a social emotional screener. What I've learned is that this is really good about identifying like if he has delays in his development and then areas that he's doing really well in, and just any area that he may need additional support. Whereas this one really is, they go really well together. Okay, so this addresses like social stuff. So tell me overall, what's your biggest concern?
Well, he had a pretty long stay in the NICU, and I've, done a lot of reading about what that can do for social emotional development and lots of things. And so, overall concerned about anything that could stem from that extended NICU stay.
Well, we'll go through them. And what's really cool about these questionnaires is it's not just me looking at what he's able to do. They really are parent based. And so we believe that you are his biggest advocate and you are a SAMI expert. And so we'll be asking you those questions so that you can give input versus me just guessing or seeing and observing or trying to test out certain things. So it's really a parent questionnaire. So it is a lot of questions, but we'll work through both of them together and we'll see what we can start off with at the end. It was good. All right, so I'm going to ask you questions now for about social emotional development. This summer right here, the ASQ3 really just talks about the ages and stages of development, like how he's interacting with others, how he's, is he starting to grip things, open his hands, reach, whereas this is really talking about social emotional development. So these questions are a little bit different. The way they're scored is often, sometimes, or rarely. So similar to the other questionnaire. But this tool is really awesome in that if there's an area that you're like, that's a concern for me, we also mark that so that we can kind of monitor over time. So we're doing this now, and then we'll meet together again in 6 months and do it. And if there's an area that he hasn't really improved on or an area that's an area of concern for you, we can note it on this screening and then we can reevaluate it in a month.
Did you catch how Brandy explained each of those screening tools, the ASQ3 and the ASQSE, and how they work together? How do you report out your screening findings? Even more so, how do your screening findings assist with progress monitoring and help the family know what is coming next with development? Let's take a listen to what Brandy explains.
When we're looking at the results of the ASQ screener, so this is looking at all the areas of development. You can see like this is the area that we would say maybe we need some additional support in those areas. This area is a questionable area, and this right here is we're on track for meeting those developmental milestones. And so you can see he's doing good. He's in this area, which is really kind of on track for what we want for his age. And that's really awesome considering, NICU stay, prematurity. He's really doing well. Intubation, all of that. Like he's trucking right along in those. He's really awesome. So this area is based on the answers that you gave me, the cutoff would be 45, and he's here at 25. Now, I really wouldn't stress about it being like halfway because we really don't refer or talk about, what are the next steps for social emotional development until we're at this cutoff level. And truthfully, when I look at what you wrote as like sometimes, it seems a lot of those areas were related to like tummy troubles and gassiness. And so do we have a hard time falling asleep when we're gassy, Do we arch our back sometimes when we were picked up? Yes, but is that related to reflux and tummy?
Right. Yeah.
So I don't feel it's good for us to document it, and then when they come back together, this number increases, or we see that these areas aren't improving, or they start to become more of a concern. We'll have an idea of where he was before and where he is moving forward. So good way for us to monitor his overall development with both these. So great. See that, Tammy? You're doing good.
Throughout these videos, Brandy has provided such good examples and models of how we can explain screening and the effectiveness and the purpose for doing those kind of social emotional screenings. As we were putting this video together, however, we couldn't pass this opportunity to share this little clip I'm going to show you next. We all know that in early intervention, the unexpected could happen. We also know that siblings are part of our visits. So take a quick look at this sibling who actually shoots a slingshot at Brandy right in the middle of the screening.
Come sit.
You want to come sit with us?
Come sit in our house.
One, two.
Oh, God. Oh my gosh, he knows how to.
I'm going to show you one last little snippet because it's like a bow on a package. It kind of pulls it all together.
Social emotional development doesn't just develop alongside, all areas kind of come together. So it's really a holistic approach to also monitor social emotional development.
That's a wrap on this episode with simple strategies to understand the importance of routinely screening and discussing developmental milestones with families. Remember, everyone plays a vital role in supporting the emotional well-being of all families.